Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of TCG Talk. Back today with another video. Hope you all having a great day. For today's video, one thing I wanted to do was I've been seeing a couple videos that other Flesh and Blood creators are making talking about equipment. Equipment's always been kind of a good topic in Flesh and Blood because it's a very unique part about the game. It's a very fun part about the game. But I also know from a player perspective, especially like a casual to like just starting out competitive player, it can be very frustrating because you don't always have access to all the equipment that you want. And if you want to play at a high level, or maybe you think you want to play at a high level, that really good equipment can be very inaccessible due to price or due to availability and stuff like that. However, this video is intended to show people that maybe you're playing at local armories, maybe you're even playing like a localized event that's like regional with a couple of other local stores, maybe not a call in or anything like that, but something where you're like, I don't have access to these legendary equipment. What equipment can I use to still give myself a chance at winning the game? The one thing I want to say, and some people will disagree with me, but you don't need legendary equipment to win a Flesh and Blood game by any means. You can tailor your deck around your equipment or tailor your equipment around your deck. Like for me, I play Viscerai a lot now, and obviously Viscerai is a hero where without Grasp the Arknight, it kind of changes how you play him a little bit, because when you have Grasp the Arknight and you have Bloodchief Skeleton, it gives you a little mini fridge for defense, but also it helps you to do those pivot turns with Sonata. So I won't lie, yes, playing with those is a lot better. However, there's some other equipment that you can use with him. Like one of them I'll talk about in this video, that still allows you to be very effective and win games with it. So if you're a new player, if you're a casual player, if you're like a decently competitive player, these are equipment. Some of them you'll definitely recognize, some of them you won't, or maybe you haven't tried before, that are very useful. And I only stuck to common equipment, and I have 6 equipment pieces. You could do more, but I just stuck with 6. Um, and yeah, we'll get right into it. For the first one, I'm not going to have a whole lot of class specific equipment on this list just because like it's not applicable to all heroes. I think this is the only class specific one I have. But Ether Ironweave. Ether Ironweave is one of the most slept on equipment pieces for Runeblade. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's such a good piece of equipment. And you can put this in place of Bloodchief Skeleton, right, for Viscerai, and it's really good with Briar as well to get your Rosetta Thorn off. Basically, it gives you 2 resources after you've played an attack and a non-attack action, which for Runeblade is pretty common, right? Especially with Briar. This is basically a free Rosetta Thorn or a free, second attack if you have some 2 costs like Command and Conquer or something. It's really good for that, and it blocks for 1, and it doesn't break when it blocks. So you still get the 1 block, you still get 2 resources. It's just an overall great card that a lot of people don't think about, and I don't know why. Actually, in Blitz with Viscerai and Briar, there's an argument to be made to use this over like a Skeleton or a Heart and Cross Trap or anything like that, because it just does a little bit of everything. It's like a jack of all trades equipment piece. Definitely use this if you don't have Skeleton with Viscerai, and I would almost use this primarily with Briar if you don't have Tunic. So it's really good for that. So that's my first equipment piece. The second one, getting into a more of a common equipment piece. We're going to use Best of the First Fist. Best of the First Fist is such good. I first came onto this card uh, with Benji, and Benji is really good because obviously he's pretty much unblockable once you get past their equipment. So I would basically hit someone for free, then gain 2 resources, and I could Kadachi and then use it on another attack. So it was really useful for that. Basically, I got my next 2 attacks off for free. Such a good card. It doesn't block, but if you're a high aggro deck and you know you're going to hit pretty often, this could be a good card for you. It's basically like a Heart and Cross Trap, but it doesn't break the chain. So if you're confident you're going to hit your attacks and you don't need to like pay for your first attack like before the chain starts, Vest of the First Fist might be really good for you. Again, really good with Benji. You could use it with a couple of the ninja classes or any aggro deck really that needs those 2 resources. It can be very useful for that. The next one I have is Time Skippers. Time Skippers is really good in certain matchups. You pay 3, you destroy Time Skippers, and you gain 2 action points. It's good against Prism, right? Some people even will sideboard this card in normal decks, like fully kitted decks against Prism. But it's really good just to kind of do pivot turns, get past someone's aura, get past somebody's, a different card that someone's trying to throw at you. And it's just really good for like these go wide turns where maybe you don't have the go again feature that you want to have, but you want to have be able to get your turn off. So really good for that. It's a card that's honestly sideboard in with a couple like fully kitted out decks. But you also can just use it in a regular deck. It's not like the most popular common equipment, but it is really good, and I highly suggest using this one. For this one, this is my baby. This is Hope Merchant's Hood. I think Hope Merchant's Hood is a legitimate like main equipment piece. It's insane. Like the only reason that this card is not used all the freaking time is because of our skull cap. If skull cap was not a thing, I guarantee you would see, especially in aggro decks and in Runeblade decks, you would see Hope Merchant's Hood be the main headpiece. It's just like you take away skull like Viscerai, right? Take away skull cap, like what are you else you going to use is better? Like Crown Dichotomy, maybe, but even then, like Hope Merchant's Hood's probably the next best headpiece, unless you want a little bit more armor, and then you could do like Iron Rot or whatever, right? But overall, like Hope Merchant's Hood is a full hand reset. In Blitz, this card's insane. Like it basically guarantees you're not going to have a bad hand the whole game with the pacing of Blitz right now. Um, I remember before I got Mask of Momentum with Katsu, I used this, and it won me like several games because I didn't have the block I needed, so I hope Merchant's Hood to get something out of it, or I just had good pivot turn. I had momentum. I draw three blues with Katsu, like somehow, right? Aggro Katsu, so I hope Merchant's Hood to get a good hand back. I would keep a blue, get rid of three cards, and try to draw three reds. Like it's just a hand reset. It's basically a mulligan. You got a free mulligan in your deck. And again, the only reason this card is not used all the time is because of Arcanite Skullcap. If you took out Skullcap, this card would be used so much, and it's still viable. I think in Blitz, like people have looked at me weird a little bit, but my Briar list, which I won my armory with, I ran Hope Merchant's Hood in Blitz because it's just I don't care to block with Skullcap. I'm gonna race you anyway, and I'm gonna make sure I don't get a bad hand. Like why would I not use it? So that's why I did that. But yeah, it's the most underrated and most useful common equipment in the game, and I'll argue anybody with that 100%. For the next one, Heart and Cross Trap, very common one most people see. Um, Gives you two resources, really good in Ninja, obviously with Agrokatsu. You want to play like a Surging Strike. It's good to play a Command and Conquer at the end of a turn if you don't care about breaking the chain. It's really good to get off like a high level attack or something like that. The only tricky thing with this is if you're not playing it at the end of a chain or like to break the chain to play like a big attack, you basically have to pop it before the chain starts or else you'll break the chain. So it kind of telegraphs your play a little bit. But sometimes you don't care to even break the chain. Like I said, if you're playing like a Command and Conquer, then this is perfect for that. Um, so it's just a great card to basically get off a high level attack for free, and it's still even used over Tunic with some Agrokatsu builds because they want to be able to get their Surging Strike off for free the first time it comes up to try to get that McGinty line. So yeah, Heart and Cross Trap really typical. If you're a new player like this, should probably be your chess piece. No matter who you're playing, for the most part, there's only a couple other chess pieces that are better. That's better than, again, best of the first fist is really good as well. But Heart and Cross Trap is really good to just get those big attacks off. And the last one, I kept it last just because it's the most obvious one in the game. Unless you're a brand new player, you know what this is. Snapdragon Scalers. This is used in main decks, right? This is on like I know I said Herb Merchant was the best common equipment in the game. Technically, Snapdragon Scalers could be argued to that as well. Just depends what type of deck you have. But it's definitely the most widely used common equipment. But yeah, just gives your next attack. Basically gives free go again off an attack action, even if the attack action doesn't hit. So it's really good for that. Just overall great card. It's amazing, right? So looking back at it, having Snapdragon Scalers, Heart and Cross Strap, Hope Merchant's Hood, Time Skippers, Best of the Verse Fist, and Ether Ironweave, they're all really great cards. And again, yes, if you're wanting to go to calling and you're wanting a top 8 and you're wanting to do all these crazy things, then sure, yes, having like the best equipment possible, especially depending on the hero you play, you're gonna want that. And I understand the barrier to entry to that equipment is high, but you definitely can win games. You 100% can win armor events. I've won armor events with all common equipment. It's not hard. You definitely can do it. When I first got into the game, I was playing Katsu for a solid 2 months with Hope Merchant's Hood, and I was beating people like you. And that's without Mask of Momentum, which technically most people say you need to have in order to play Ninja. That's just not true. It's not true. I will argue that all day. If you're wanting to go to an event like and do crazy well, sure. But if you just want to play your armor event, maybe play at a slightly bigger event locally, you can definitely get by with common equipment just fine. It's just how you tailor your deck and how you tailor your sequencing and your pace. Just my opinion. Yeah, I hope you all like this video. Let me know what other equipment that maybe isn't like a legendary that you use a lot that you find really useful. It can be class specific as well. If you enjoyed this, if it was useful for you, or if it's good content, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know any other videos you'd like to see. I will definitely be looking at comments to try to make more interesting videos. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. And I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.